Phil Baldwin, CEO of Batesville-based Citizens Bank, has helped that financial institution grow to over $1 billion in assets over the last 6 years. He plans to retire in 2021. Baldwin's seen a few economic cycles in his experience. He and I caught up for a discussion on what he sees happening as we wade through the economic recovery in the wake of COVID-19. All right, Phil, you've been with Citizens Bank since 2014, helped the bank double in assets and net income. I know you're going to compliment the employees of the bank for this success, and certainly they should be. But beyond that, what do you attribute growth to in terms of the business climate over the last several years?
Roby, thank you for having me. It's an honor to speak with you. And it is exciting to talk about Citizens Bank and the growth that we've had the last couple of years. And really, as you know, and a lot of people know around Arkansas, Citizens Bank has been a great Arkansas institution since 1953, when it was founded by a number of local business and community leaders. And it has served Batesville well and north central Arkansas. But it didn't really have a desire to grow until 2013, when the board of directors decided they wanted to grow the bank and wanted to spread out across Arkansas and potentially even outside of Arkansas. And so they reached out to me. I was living in Atlanta at the time, and invited me to come and join the bank, which I was proud to do. And we just began a process of growth. It wasn't anything different than what other banks have done, but it has been very successful, and especially in the last couple of years, being able to double the bank's size since 2013 is something that we all as a team are proud of.
And so what do you attribute the growth to? What's the magic elixir that's allowed all this growth?
Well, I think that we did expand into some bigger markets. So we're across Arkansas, from Rogers to Crossett, from Monticello to Hot Springs to Arkadelphia to Little Rock, and places in between. And so I think it's just the fact that our footprint is bigger. But I would also tell you that we have adopted what you will find to be an interesting mission statement. And I know that you and I have been around a long time, and we've watched mission statements evolve from where they were a page long to a paragraph or two, and then I guess the modern school of thought is to get the mission statement down to a sentence or two. But we have gone beyond that, and we have our mission statement is 2 words. It's people first. And so we believe that our focus on people and putting people first is really the secret to our success. It's always about the customer, and it's about how well you take care of people and how well you serve them. We have great technology, and we have all the things that a modern bank has, but without the human touch, that doesn't really matter. And so our focus is people first, and we do that not because it's easy, but we do it because it's hard. It's hard sometimes to put people first. People sometimes have a problem with that, but in our bank, that is our mission statement, and it's our call to action, actually.
How did Citizens Bank respond to COVID-19 for its clients, and kind of assess now those clients' conditions, generally speaking? Are you more worried or less worried about business health today versus 6 months ago?
Well, that's a timely question, and that is something that we were all trying to figure out. When this hit, I would say it was something that none of us expected. I don't think anyone probably in the world expected the impact that COVID-19 has had on people, on families, on businesses, on segments of our country, population segments. It's really been hard, and it's been a challenge for business people, and for banks it has been a challenge. We decided on day 1 of the COVID situation that we wanted to do a couple of things. One is we wanted to keep our people and our bank safe. We felt like that was our number 1 priority. And then the number 2 priority was that we wanted to help our customers survive, and not just barely survive, but strongly survive. And so we have done several things, and the part of the COVID response that I'm most proud of is the combination of our People First initiative, which was to defer payments, sometimes up to 9 months. Generally, I think we've done that in the 3 to 6 month range, but we would have gone 9 months. We wanted to do something that actually made a difference for people and families. we made a promise to our customers that we would not foreclose on any houses during that period of time, and that we would not foreclose on any businesses. So we stepped back and we used the tools that a bank has to basically say, let's take a break on payments for a while. You guys work on surviving, and we'll get back to normal process after all this is over. So we did that. And about $100 million of loans benefited from that response from Citizens Bank. And I'm sure there's many, many other banks that did the same thing. And honestly, I'm proud of our industry for stepping up and making a difference. And I'm also proud of the bank regulators for encouraging banks to step up and make a difference. COVID was not a time to mess around. It was a time to take action. And I think we did that. I think the government through the PPP program also did that. That's probably the single best government program I've seen. And I've been around 40 years, so I've seen a lot of government programs. But that program actually did make a difference. And I think the magic to that program was that the government through the SBA reached out to banks, and we, the banking organizations, have been the ones that have funded that money so far. And then now, of course, we're in the forgiveness stage, and so that process needs to work a little bit faster than it's working right now, because I know there's a lot of businesses that have honored what was asked of them, and now it's time for the government to forgive those loans and let these businesses move forward.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, some folks are hoping for a V-shaped recovery. Some suggest it may be more like a Nike swoosh. How do you see economic recovery happening? What's your prediction?
I think the answer is twofold. I think that in a lot of industry out there, truthfully, they really haven't been damaged that much by COVID. There's a lot of businesses that are doing very well right now. And with them, I think in some cases there probably never was a downturn. And I'm thinking of some of the big stores like Walmart and Amazon that have done very well through this process. I think also there's a lot of manufacturing heavy industry that has done well, and at worst probably they would be a V-shaped recovery. I think when you get down into the small businesses, the family-owned businesses, especially those that are tied in with the food industry or with tourism, vacations, things like that, I think the challenge for them is much greater. And in fact, what I'm afraid of right now is if we don't get another PPP type of program or some type of government assistance between now and the end of this year, that you will have the silent death of these businesses. It won't be on TV. They won't be out fighting for their survival, because they will have just given up, and they will just shut down and go away. And Roby, I drove into Little Rock the other day, and I was coming down 167 passing McCain Mall, and I noticed that virtually every one of the restaurants right there along the highway by McCain Mall is shut down, and it looks like they're all shut down permanently. And that's the first time I've seen something like that, and it was very depressing. And we didn't hear about it. They just gave up. And I think you'll see that not just with restaurants, but with a lot of the retail, small retail will be a challenge if they're not helped one more time.
I think your assessment's spot on. Let's end this conversation on an extremely positive note. You're going to be succeeded by Adam Mitchell as CEO. He is a great guy. Have you transferred all of your knowledge to him? Tell me how he's going to be an even better CEO than you.
Well, I would tell you this, and I do believe this, that the new generation of banking leadership is much different than the old generation, the generation that I have grown up in. They are more inclusive, and they are more thoughtful, and they really do see things in a different light than the generation that I come from. So I think that's a positive sign for banking. I do believe that banking has to grow and adapt and evolve into something that it's not. Technology is requiring that of us. Our customers want our products and services differently than the old generation wanted products and services. I think the generational change is also as important as the technology change, and you have to really manage that very well, or you become irrelevant, and no bank wants to be irrelevant. We want to be a survivor, and Citizens Bank definitely does now that we are in the billion-dollar bank range. That's very exciting. Adam Mitchell is the key to all of that. He's been here about 2 years, a little over 2 years, and he is a young and bright leader that has a great future vision, that understands the dynamics of people first, understands the importance of technology, and understands what's needed for Citizens Bank to not just be relevant, but to be very successful. We think that we fill a void right now. As banks get bigger, it seems like they step back away from customers and they become corporations more than they are community banks. Our task is to be a community bank and to maintain our community bank nature even as we grow, and to make sure we don't evolve into something that we don't want to be. So Adam is very bright, he's very smart. When he and I got together a couple of years ago, I saw in him someone that would step into my place and lead the bank farther than I could lead it, and I'm very excited and proud that that's what's going to happen. And I really want to congratulate Adam for the confidence the board of directors has in him and electing him the new chief executive officer next summer.
That's Phil Baldwin, CEO of Batesville-based Citizens Bank. You can catch our full interview at talkbusiness.net.